I am the chosen one.
Travis Wayne Goodsell. During the 3 o'clock hour, after the stock market closed, the former asterisk 45 was indicted by the grand jury in the hush money payment of Stormy Daniels. And he called her horseface to be mean, but it has significance, because guess who fell off the horse? And you don't know, because the majority of you are new, and there are very few of you that were with me from the beginning, or even followed to the current day. And so this is exclusive information that you're getting from me because of my particular career field, anthropology of the ancient Middle East. As a Mormon born and raised, Joseph Smith inspired me to learn things that nobody else was giving us information about. And thus, I became an anthropologist of the ancient Middle East. And there's nobody else in the world that can say that. I am the only one. And I have made unique decipherments. Paleo-Hebrew is my world-famous one. And I've been sharing with you my knowledge of Paleo-Hebrew in my videos. And academia.edu has the full decipherment for free. And I've also done other stuff, deciphered the remaining signs, hieroglyphs that other Egyptologists did not realize needed to be translated. The larger pictures, for example, they only translate the text. It's supposed to be 24 hours. What's going on here? See, because here I'm thinking it's 5 in the morning. But it's supposed to be 17. And so the contributions to the research into Joseph Smith's church religion are also unique. Nobody else knows what I know because of my unique career field. Because it's not just the ancient Middle East. I can go into any period of time, any culture, anywhere around the world, and use the same techniques. And so, being Mormon, did it with early church history. And so I'm the one who discovered that Joseph Smith Sr. is the major author of the 116 pages rewritten. He's the one responsible for the Book of Mormon in the first place, which is why he took it upon himself to rewrite the 116 pages as the Master Mason in Canandaigua, New York, on 9/11 with William Morgan. And that's why it's Egyptian gold plates. It's because of the York Rite Freemasonry. And too many people, being ignorant, just lump all Freemasonry together as one. Just like Joseph Smith and Brigham Young, they merged them together, consider them the same. And it shows their ignorance. Brigham Young is the second. He's the first president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And that's why there's a big fight among Mormons and actual historians and critics, is that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints are trying to rewrite history so that they become the legitimate line of succession. And they're not. I'm working on the deaths of each of the Brigham Young's presidents, because Wilford Woodruff had oopsied in the official declaration, verse 11. And so, again, my career field, I knew what to expect as an indication from deity as to whether or not he did actually remove presidents of the church, as they have led Mormons astray. And I've done previous video about the lunar eclipses, but I've learned that there's solar eclipses also. So I'm revising it to include the solar eclipses. And so yes, I'll have to redo all of the pictures that I made to include the solar eclipse, Wadjet Eye of Horus, not just the Wadjet Eye lunar eclipse of Horus. And so I've gone over in my videos of how the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is directly involved with scriptural prophecy for the latter days. And I went over Monson's death with you, on how he not only conformed to the solar and lunar eclipse pattern, but he also was the fulfillment of Revelation chapter 12, verse 3. It becomes 4 in the Joseph Smith translation. It's the stars falling from the tail of the dragon. That's when he died. Quadranted meteor showers during the super full moon that was the preceding of the massive super blood wolf moon total solar lunar eclipse. And so knowing that Nelson automatically takes over, I identified Nelson as one of the planets for the latter-day prophecies. He's Mars. And then it would be not too long ago where I decided to check the meaning of Russell, Marion, Nelson, to find out it means Mars. Identified by the sign in the heaven as Mars, and his name means Mars. Hilarious! But I already knew about Jupiter. Jupiter is Emmanuel. He's the Christ. And so, born, Revelation 12, of Virgo, 23rd September 2017. The first year of the latter days. And so Emmanuel is the Egyptian sun god at noonday. Amen. Amenel. Joseph Smith calls him Son Amen. And so, yes, Jupiter is him. It's just the Roman period name for the deity. And so I that was an easy, obvious one to follow all these years. Because we're in the last year of the latter days. April 2024 is the third day of darkness. And it crosses over the United States of America with the one from the first day of darkness, 21st of August 2017. And it was the first solar eclipse over America that, because of my career field, jaw dropped. I quickly rushed to finish the script for Paleo Hebrew, the decipherment, to get that out and published, and began working on doing Signs in the Heavens publications and YouTube videos. And that's how I was able to identify Monson's death connection with the revelations and identify Nelson as Mars. And I have been following and testing them all this time. And so the Book of Mormon, likewise, because of my career field, I was able to walk right into the Book of Mormon after all this time and go, holy crap, as I'm doing real church history, making these discoveries. And so the Book of Mormon is not literal history, since Joseph Smith Sr. is the one who had to rewrite 116 pages. And so it's the warning message that William Morgan wanted to publish for the United States of America. The United States of America was under threat. And wouldn't you know it, everything prophesied in the Book of Mormon have happened to date. And so we're going to go over the part about King Zedekiah as the news has hit the fan today. Because Lehi has a dream, and he sees a sign in the heavens, and that sign in the heavens is a revision of Revelation chapter 12. He sees the 12 stars on the crown of Virgo with Jupiter, who is Ammon, Emmanuel. And they give him a book about the destruction of Jerusalem by Babylon. This is all code, guys. It's 2017 that the Book of Mormon starts. And it's not the destruction of Jerusalem, of Judah. And so the significance of why I'm doing the solar eclipses with the lunar eclipses has to do with what's coming up this year, the bicentennial year of Joseph Smith's second vision. Nelson knows what I'm talking about, don't you? I was surprised that no prophet died during the tetrad that we just had. 21 and 22. It was 21 and 22, wasn't it? Yeah. I was sure that there was going to be deaths. Whether it was going to be Nelson or not, I had no understanding at that time. It was all prediction. And now I'm certain this year, because the solar eclipse crosses over Utah and it's the second day of darkness. Yeah, it's this year. And so, as Monson was corresponding with the first day of darkness. Catching a pattern? And so, yeah, I'm well aware of that. But King Zedekiah, I also needed to identify. And I'm not going to say his name. Because he's the asterisk president. As Zedekiah also tells us he's going to be an asterisk president. And so, because it's 2017, you see that Nephi is born this year. He does not leave with Lehi and his family, because he's not born. He's born in the end of 2017, 23rd of March, or 23rd September 2017, near the end of the year. And so, the first year of the reign of King Zedekiah, January 20th. Now it's interesting because it's not the same day when presidential inaugurations take place back in the early 1800s. There were changes, I think, to that. I'd have to refer to the Constitution on that, but very interesting. Just like for Congress, when they meet to replace the new with, or replace the old with the new from the election. Got the chair, but the other chair did damage to me. And so, 2017, 23rd September, Nephi is born. Nephi is the one who visits Joseph Smith and tells him about the Jewish Christ that is Mormon Christ, is the Mormon Christ. And then Joseph Smith goes on in section 103 verse 16 to say, yeah, he's Mormon. We're the Jewish Christ. It's us. It's him. He's Mormon. And so if you're thinking Jesus and Christianity, you're lost, you're offended, you're angry, you're declaring blasphemy, all you're doing is being emoting. You're using a religion that is the great and abominable, with the great and abominable Christ that Joseph Smith talks to us about in verse 19 of that visionary account. It appalls me that Mormons don't believe Joseph Smith and the Book of Mormon, but they claim they do, and they insist they do, but I'm wrong. That the Book of Mormon is not the learning of the Jews. That Joseph Smith is not the learning of the Jews. That he's not a translator. It's just appalling that Mormons draw near to Joseph Smith with their lips, but their hearts are far from him. And so, yeah, the first year of the reign of King Zedekiah, 2017, from the 2016 election, right here in the Book of Mormon. And if you learn about Zedekiah, Babylon had come in and conquered. Not the captivity, conquered. Captivity would come 11 years later. And the king of Babylon put Zedekiah on the throne. A foreign power put the king on the throne. And our government has confirmed that the 2016 election was tampered, and that thus asterisk 45. And it's Russia. And that's hilarious, because they knew this too. Russia wasn't an official country until 1919, somewhere around there. 1917, 19, somewhere in that area. And they used the two eagles of the Scottish Rites as their symbol, that were infiltrated by the Illuminati. That was the threat that William Morgan was trying to publish, which now became the Book of Mormon. And so thus, the Book of Mormon has Isaiah's, "How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning." That's their symbol, Lucifer's symbol, the light bearer. And so, yes, it's not a surprise, therefore, to see the inverted pentagram of the Illuminati of Lucifer on Brigham Young's keystone of the doors of the Salt Lake Temple of headquarters of Zion, let alone on the Nauvoo Temple that Brigham Young had put on, and the Logan Temple, and his son, Don Carlos, sculpting the Eagle Gate there on State Street. They're all symbols, and they have meaning. And yet Mormons want to say, "No, Christian, Jesus." Sorry, guys. You can't gaslight me. But apparently you're able to gaslight others. That's why you want me silenced and dead. Church has known about me. Again, you're not watching my channel, so if you're new, you're like, yeah, no, they don't care about it. No, they know me. We've had history. And I've got the receipts of them having ordered and rewarded assassins. But because the courts here in Utah are rigged, there is no justice for me. But it's nice to know there's a God above who will give me justice. Coming in the coming days, you will see the great power. And so, yeah, I'll do the video when I finish the chart for the prophets or presidents. But, yeah, this is about the destruction of America, not just the great and abominable church. It's both. Solar and lunar eclipses. The sun shall be darkened, moon turned to blood. Stars fall from heaven. The fall. Now, the enemy are purposely doing all this so that they can rise up with the New World Order. And what the Book of Mormon is trying to help Mormons understand is that their Christ is real, and he will be coming, and thus he's here. And that brings me to tears. And it pains me that the majority of Mormons don't even know to look for him because they're stuck on Jesus. All the prophecies have to be met. And so we know there are false prophets who claim to be the one mighty and strong. That's who all the prophecies are referring to. The man like Moses. The Christ of the Jews. Who's been replaced by Jesus. And none of them fulfill the prophecies. They've got to have the name first. Brian David Mitchell screwed it up. I think he did the first name Emmanuel, didn't he? Emmanuel David, or did he do David Emmanuel? But still, it's the wrong name, dumbass. Is he not dead yet in jail, in prison? Bastard. And so, yeah, you can't make yourself the guy. You have to be the guy. And there's nothing he can do about it to be the guy. He just is born the guy. And he has to grow up in the great and abominable church. And he has to learn, line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little, to learn the truth and weed out the lies of the great and abominable church. Just like all of us do. And that's a difficult thing for Mormons to understand. Because they're stuck on Jesus. He's supposed to be perfect. Doesn't even cry. But he does have to fulfill every single prophecy. And so I have been amazed. But it's sad that Mormons want me dead, that Mormons fulfill prophecy to mock me, to scold me, to laugh at me, to lie in wait to catch me in a crime or a sin. The Danite Mormons, I can understand their actions. But Mormons who are not privy to the plot to destroy America and establish a king, because Jesus isn't real, remember? They've got to put a human as king in the New World Order. And so the Emmanuel king, it's by default, because the destruction will happen. And it's supposed to be those who listen to him, thus Mormons, are the ones who are going to survive and establish Zion. And thus by default he becomes king. He doesn't overthrow America to become king. That's the great and abominable church that are doing that. And I've witnessed them do that this whole time. They're abominable. They need to get their ass kicked. So, yeah, it amazes me of how detailed the plot has been, and how much William Morgan was able to pass on to Joseph Smith Sr. before he had to be rescued and fled from the country. And then Joseph Smith Sr. took on the responsibility to make sure the book got finished and published. So yes, Zedekiah is Mercury, and he fell off the horse today.